Hi, I'm Rajiv, and today we're going back to basics. How do you clean your home? And what's your version of a thorough cleaning? Today, I'm going to show you how I clean my place when I want it super clean. So the secret of a deep cleaning is in this box right here. No, it's not. Cleaning is not in this box, but there is something very special in this box, and that's why I'm cleaning my place today. Whenever I get something for my apartment that I have been waiting for, that has been commissioned, something that's going to be put on display, I do a deep clean. And today, something has arrived from my friend Deborah that has been in the works for 2 years. Deborah told me once that a coverlet, traditionally a 19th century wool coverlet, was something that was used in the winter and the fall, but in the summertime, early American and Canadian settlers, they had summer coverlets, summer weight coverlets, which were made out of wool but were very thin. And a couple years ago, I designed a logo for Deborah's company, Upper Canada Weaving. And in return, as payment, she said she would make me a summer coverlet. She was going to pick out the sheep from a certain farm in Ontario, have them shorn, have the wool spun to her specifications. Then she was going to have the wool dyed. I asked her if she could make the coverlet yellow and gray. And she had her friend Liam dye the wool with goldenrod and sumac, so he needed to wait until the fall to harvest those flowers and berries. And as I said, 2 years later, the coverlet was finished and it is in this box. So before I can open up this box and put that coverlet on the bed, I want my place to be super clean. I think everybody has a version of what super clean is, and everybody's version is different. So today I'm doing my version of a thorough, deep clean. And that begins with clearing this whole room of any stuff that shouldn't be on the ground or on the tables. The next step is dusting. I don't use a feather duster. I don't use a thing on a stick. I use just a rag or a cloth. If you use a feather duster, you're just really moving dust around. You're not picking it up. And the whole point of dusting is to collect the dust and to try to get rid of it. So I use a cloth, and if you use a cloth like this, as you're picking up the dirt, you can see it on the cloth, and you can just fold it in different ways to get a new clean surface. And I try to dust everything. I do this once a week. I don't know where it comes from, but there's always dust. There's dust in a lot of places that you don't even think of looking, and these are the places where dust loves to hide because it goes, oh, I know he's not gonna look there, so I'll go sit there forever. Well, I'm gonna find you, dust. Look at this! That's from 3 little strokes of dusting. So you might think, oh, he's crazy, that boy crazy. But, okay, first of all, yes. Secondly, for good reason. They're so happy now. You can just see them smiling. Look at this. Look at this. The top of this lamp. The base of this lamp. Over here. When you're dusting, it's actually smart to work from the top down. So if you have shelves and there's stuff on the shelves and you're gonna dust the shelves, do the shelves before you do the tabletops. The dust from the shelves is gonna fall down. And as it falls down, then you can dust the tables underneath or anything underneath it and collect the dust as it's falling down. So start at the top and work your way down. Carpets love dust, and that's why I don't have any wall-to-wall carpeting in here, because I don't want it. I love rugs though. I especially love those little Persian rugs, but they collect so much dust, and You can vacuum them, but they still hold dust. The most effective way of getting rid of dust from a Persian rug is really the old image that you have of a grandma leaning out of a window, shaking a rug. Shaking a rug is very effective, and it always blows my mind how much dust comes out of a rug when I'm shaking it. I vacuum the rugs before I shake them, and then I shake them and there's still so much dust. Close your windows. Don't have a cameraman sitting in your open window while you're doing this. So I've shaken my rugs outside, but before I bring them back in, I am going to vacuum this room completely. If you have allergies or you sneeze a lot or your eyes are itchy, it never hurts to try to eliminate as much dust as possible in your home. Well, mops? Spongy squeegee things? No. You know, they just wet the floor, they move dirt around. Yeah, you can take it over to the sink and squeeze it out. But the true test of whether a floor is really clean, the test is white socks. You wash the floors, you walk around in some white socks. If there's stuff on the bottom of your socks at the end of the night, your floors aren't as clean as they can be. This method, the old Cinderella method, this is the best way to clean floors. You wring out the cloth every few swipes, you get back in there, you scrub, you come into contact with every bit of molding and floor. That's clean. That's my version of clean. That's how I do it. So, bucket, hot water, nice hot water, warm water, and some soap specifically for washing floors. You can use dish detergent, that's fine too, but I like to use specific floor washing soap. Put some of this into the water. Not too much, a little goes a long way. So let's get to work. So when I lived in Germany, I was learning German any way that I could learn it. I started taking guitar lessons, and I asked my teacher, Armin Schmidt, to please speak to me only in German. And one day I was just telling him about how dusty my apartment was, and he said there was a German joke where a little girl asks her mother, "Mama, what happens to people when they die?" And the mother says, "They turn into dust." And then the little girl looked at her mother and says, "Mama, there's many dead people under my bed." There is something cathartic about this. There is something therapeutic about doing this. Knowing that at the end of the day, you actually worked physically hard to achieve something, and you can look at your apartment and you can feel like, I did something today and I accomplished something, and you can see it. So, I said it before when I told you about making your bed, and I'll say it again about washing the floors. Washing the floors is great to keep your place clean, but it is also great for your mind. It is a little exercise in strengthening your mind, giving you a physical task that has an end in sight, and when you reach that end, it's a genuine feeling of accomplishment, and it's simple. It's not painting a watercolor or knitting a sweater, it's washing a floor. And there's something to be said for the sense of self-worth that you get when you do things like this. This room just kind of smiles when it's clean. That's the only way to describe it. When it's all clean and I step out into the doorway and I look back at it with the sun shining on the floorboards, it just seems like the room is smiling back at me. This apartment's 100 years old this year, and I think it likes that it's being taken care of. Deborah, if you're watching this, I am so excited to be opening this box. Deborah, look at this. The first thing that greets me, some lavender and a note. Dear Rajiv, I'm so excited to be finally sending you your summer coverlet. It's been a long time in coming. Thank you for inspiring me to create this very special textile, so rooted in the land. The wool is Suffolk, which has a cotton quality, and the cap. I think that you are going to look absolutely fabulous in it. I hope all is well. Love, Deborah. Aw, and there's the little logo that I designed for her.
What does a dryer sheet, white vinegar, and a vacuum have in common? Yes, that's right. It's time to clean our baseboards. Start by adding a brush attachment to your vacuum and get that first layer of dust up. Then fill a spray bottle with vinegar, wipe along your baseboards, the wall, and floor with a microfiber cloth to remove any remaining grime. Lastly, fold a dryer sheet around your vacuum and secure with a hair tie. Yes, there likely is more dust, and the dryer sheet helps repel new dust after all that cleaning because the dust really does build up. Move your plants back into place and marvel at how quick it was to make your baseboards glow.
The next time you eat an orange, don't toss the peels. Set them aside for these easy, all-natural cleaning sprays. Here's what you'll need to make your own. Lemons, grapefruits, oranges, lavender, rosemary, cinnamon sticks, glass bottle of distilled white vinegar, glass jar or sealable container, spray nozzle, funnel, and a wire mesh strainer. Put your citrus peels in a mason jar with your favorite pairings. I like lemon peels and rosemary sprigs, grapefruit peels and lavender, and orange peels and cinnamon sticks. Once your container is almost full, fill it with vinegar and screw on the lid. Attach a tag with the date and ingredients, and then let the mixture sit for a couple of weeks or up to a month. When it's ready, the vinegar should have a fresh, clean scent. Do even more repurposing by turning that glass vinegar bottle into a spray bottle. You want to fill the glass bottle halfway with filtered water. Then use a strainer and a funnel and fill the jar the rest of the way up with the vinegar solution. After that, screw on a spray nozzle. And now you're ready to freshen up your home. You may notice a faint vinegar smell, but don't worry, that'll fade once the cleaner dries. Get ready to make your kitchen, bathrooms, and floors shine all year long.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dennis.
And we are the Crafty Lumberjacks, and spring is here!
Yes.
We love spring because it's a chance to renew, refresh your space.
And you loved our spring cleaning video so much last time that we decided to share 3 more spring cleaning hacks for you.
So the first thing we're making are wool dryer balls.
Yes, and for that you need 100% wool yarn. And we're just gonna start by wrapping a yarn ball. You can start by wrapping around 2 fingers about 10 times around your fingers, and then you can pinch it off, and you want to hold it in the center there and start wrapping around the center, and this is going to get your ball started.
And these are so great because they're eco-friendly. You can throw away or not use your dryer sheets anymore. That they have a lot of chemicals in them.
Yeah. And then this will also decrease the drying time of your clothes in the dryer, just because we're going to throw about 4 in there, and it kind of separates the clothes more so that it dries quicker.
I have to say, you're a much better ball roller than
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You don't hear that every day.
Mine always come out looking so wonky.
That's because I'm around a lot of cats. You want to just keep wrapping until you get the about a size of a tennis ball. You want these a little bigger at first because they are going to shrink a little bit once you get them in the dryer. Okay, now this is the fun part, to tie it off. So you just want to cut off your yarn there and get a needle. And then you just want to start punching into your yarn ball there, just to tie it off. So we weaved it in a few times, and then we're just going to give it a snip there. Okay, so now to felt the balls, we have to throw them in the washer and dryer. We're going to set them in a little bit of pantyhose.
And this is gonna help so they don't unravel.
And then once we have one ball in there, we wanna tie it off with a little bit of string or yarn. This, you don't wanna use the wool yarn because it will fall apart in the washer and dryer. So we're just using a little bit of scrap.
Acrylic yarn.
Yeah. So we have our caterpillar completed now. We're gonna throw it in the washer and the dryer. We wanna put it in about 3 or 4 cycles. Really hot washer, really hot dryer. And we want them to come out
like this.
Yes, see, they look all felted. They all look like one ball here.
Yeah, the texture is more matted. There's no loose ends. And these will last for years. All right, so now that our dryer balls are done, we're gonna add a couple of drops of essential oils in each one. Yeah, and this replaces dryer sheets, so they'll give off that scent. They will help with static electricity and help with drying time. All right, now that we have our laundry smelling good, we want our closets to smell just as good.
Yes, so we're making paper closet sachets. We're gonna start with a 12 by 12 piece of paper and just cut it in half. You can use any paper for this, scrap paper or even fabric probably. We're just gonna fold the inside, just about 1/2 inch or 1/4 of an inch, whatever you wanna do, because we're gonna essentially make a little envelope to put our cedar chips in. And now that you have your sides folded, you want to fold it up, not right in the center. You want to leave a little lip at the top there, because we're actually going to be putting hangers in these so that they can hang right up in your closet pole. We're just going to use some glue to glue our sides together. If you have like binder clips or something, or like a heavy book, you can lay that on top just while it dries. Okay, so our envelopes are glued here, and now we're just gonna take a tack or a pin and just poke little holes in the paper here, because we want the scent of the cedar to come out of the paper. You can even do a cute little design if you want. I'm just gonna kind of poke it in where like there's little white speckles and stars. All right, so now we're just gonna punch a hole in the top here. That's gonna be where the hanger is going in. And you wanna do the hole right kind of where the fold lines up, so that the paper will be on top, that the hanger will be coming through right in the center there. And now we are going to cut our hangers. These are just hangers from the dry cleaner, and we're just using heavy duty wire cutters here just to give it a cut. And then we're just gonna feed through our hanger through the hole there. Great, so now we're going to add our cedar chips. We just have some shaved cedar chips here. Throw them right in the satchel. And we want to reuse this, so we're not gonna glue this, we're just gonna use a little bit of washi tape.
We can't wait to put these in our closet. All right, on to our next hack.
For our last hack, we are going to clean our cell phones.
Yes, now most people forget to clean your phones, but they are actually really disgusting. Now you want to check with your manufacturer before you clean your phone to make sure it's okay, but we have a foolproof disinfectant right here.
So we're just doing 1 part rubbing alcohol
to 1 part distilled water.
And we're gonna set this right up in our house as soon as you get in the entryway there, just to give our cell phones a wipe down. You don't wanna spray this directly on your phone. You're gonna wanna spray it on a microfiber cloth.
And microfiber cloths are great because they don't leave scratches.
And you can do this up about to once a week. We do ours a little more frequently just because we're on the subways, we're touching poles, we're walking upstairs constantly. So we get paranoid that we have a lot of germs on our cell phones. And there she is.
Oh, you're so clean.
Hey guys, welcome back to HGTV Handmade. Today I'm taking you into my closet because I want to show you how I finally got it organized. I've only made a few changes, but it's completely changed the game. I'm really not a morning person, so when I wake up and I'm feeling like a complete zombie, but I need to get dressed, it's just so much more helpful if I can open my closet and know where everything is. So let's get inside, and I'm going to share a few of my tips along the way. Obviously, before you start organizing, it's very helpful to donate or give away items that you don't really wear anymore. And as much as I love this Texas flag button down, I only wear it once a year to the rodeo, so I think it's time to part ways with it. Donate or sell items that you don't use, but also consider repurposing them for other craft projects. Like last year during the White Craft Challenge, I used a lace shirt that had ripped to create a lace lamp. So always think about how you might repurpose something before doing away with it. Now, what you're about to see behind me is not one of those perfectly color-coded wardrobes that you've probably stumbled across on Pinterest. Not because I don't think that's cool, but because I actually don't have a lot of color in my wardrobe. I wear a lot of black and white, but if you have a more vibrant wardrobe, feel free to color code. For me, what I find more helpful is once I've separated the neutrals from the colors, I like to separate by clothing type. So I go from tank tops to tops with long sleeves. In another section, I've got all of my dresses. In another section, I've got all of my bottoms. And it just helps me a lot more because in the morning, I'm usually thinking tank top versus, dress rather than blue versus green. But if you're the type of person who dresses yourself by what color you're feeling that day, feel free to color code because that will be more helpful for you. The biggest change I've made is getting a uniform set of hangers. It's simple, but it makes all the difference. I used to keep hangers in all different sizes and colors just because I'd get them for free while shopping, but this just makes everything look unorganized. So I switched them out for these plastic black hangers. I also have these clip hangers for bottoms, and they still incorporate black with the metal, so everything still looks very cohesive. Make the most of your space by getting multi-level hangers like this one, which are great especially if you have a small closet. Instead of hanging each maxi skirt separately, I can fold them in half and put them on the different levels, and I can actually fit about 2 skirts per level, which means I can have a total of 10 items on this one hanger, which is definitely a major space saver. My next tip is an easy DIY for scarf storage. A lot of stores will sell these types of hangers that are really cute. It looks like a flower and you can slip your scarves through, but another option is to make your own scarf storage. All you have to do is find these shower curtain rings and you can pop them onto a hanger, slip a scarf through, and hang multiple scarves on one hanger. And this could also be good for hanging belts or even hanging something like crossbody bags or tank tops. There's a lot of different things you can do with something like this, and it's another great way to consolidate a lot of pieces onto one hanger. Another way that I'm making the most of my space is by storing as much as possible on the shelves that are above the clothing racks. I measured these shelves and then I went to the store to find some storage bins that would fit perfectly in this space. And these just pop open and you can fill them with whatever you want. I'm storing some of the clothes that I don't really plan to reach for this season, and I'm also storing some t-shirts and some bags up top. A helpful way to segment these cubes is by adding cardboard. All I did was cut the cardboard to fit diagonally inside of the cube, then I made cuts to each one so that they'd fit together in an X. This allows me to have 4 segments in each cube to separate and organize everything even further. Now you might be wondering where my shoes are, and I couldn't really find a great place to store them in the closet, so I've actually stored them under my bed. And I really like this organizer because it has a clear top so I can see everything that's going on inside, and each section can fit 1 pair of shoes or 2 if it's a smaller pair of sandals. And this organizer isn't actually great for storing heels, so I've got a few pairs of my heels against the one bare wall in my closet. Here is an overview of my newly organized closet.
I'm embarrassed to show you my pantry, but it's about time I tackled it and cleaned it up because it's getting out of hand. First step is to take everything out, and I do mean everything. Then I check the dates for anything that has expired and I toss it out. This part hurts a little because I hate seeing waste. Then I'll vacuum and clean out the shelves so I can start fresh here. I restocked my cans and organized them because truthfully they were a mess. Cleaned my flour and sugar jars. I used these the most. Then I got rid of any old stuff and washed the storage containers they were in, refilled anything that needed refilling, and then properly labeled it all. Before I was stuck guessing what some things were. The fun part was putting everything back in an organized way. These little clear storage containers are great for keeping small items organized. Seeing it all finished and clean is like a weight lifted off my shoulders, and honestly, I'm no longer embarrassed to open my pantry in front of company.
The kitchen is one of the most used spaces in the house. Doing a deep clean doesn't have to feel impossible. It can actually be simple and super satisfying. The sink is literally where all the dirty things go. Greasy pans, messy plates, food scraps. It's a bacteria hotspot, so I always start here. The aerator at the tip of your faucet collects mineral buildup, which can make your water flow weird or even trap bacteria. Just grab a plastic sandwich bag, fill it with white vinegar, and secure it around the faucet head with a rubber band. And then soak it for about an hour. When it's done, take off the bag and scrub with a small brush to get rid of any leftover gunk. For the sink itself, you don't need harsh chemicals, just baking soda and dish soap. Sprinkle the baking soda all over the sink, drizzle dish soap on top, and then grab a sponge and scrub it down. Baking soda is mildly abrasive, so it helps lift grime without damaging the finish. Once it's all scrubbed, rinse it clean, and it's so much better. If you have a garbage disposal, let's freshen that up too. I drop it in a fresh garbage disposal tablet, turn it on a low stream of water, and then flip the switch and let it do its thing. It helps break down grease and food buildup while also getting rid of any weird smells. Deep cleaning the fridge can feel like a huge task, so I always plan it before grocery shopping. That way there's less in there to move around. First, take everything out. If you're worried about food staying cold, just transfer it to a cooler with some ice packs while you're cleaning. Now, time to remove all the shelves and drawers. These are usually covered in sticky spills, crumbs, and mystery gunk, so I like to let them sit at room temperature to warm up for a few minutes before washing. Before spraying any cleaner, I use my vacuum with a crevice tool to quickly suck up any crumbs and dried up food bits. This makes wiping way easier since it's not pushing around extra mess. Now here's my favorite DIY all-purpose cleaner. It's 1 cup vinegar, 1 cup water, and 1 teaspoon dish soap. Shake it up and you've got a cleaner that works everywhere. For the shelves and drawers, I soak them in warm water, 2 cups vinegar, and 2 tablespoons dish soap for about 20 minutes while I clean the rest of the fridge. This helps loosen stuck-on food so they wipe clean easily. While the shelves are soaking, I spray down the whole inside of the fridge with our DIY all-purpose cleaner and go in with this little scrub brush. It's got nylon bristles, so it's perfect for getting into all the nooks and crannies. If you don't have one, an old toothbrush works totally fine too. Once everything is dry and back in place, I give it one last wipe down with a microfiber cloth. I like to add a baking soda container in the back of the fridge to absorb odors. It's a classic trick, but it really works. For the exterior, I always dust first before adding any cleaner. I use my favorite stainless steel cleaner and buff everything with a microfiber towel going with the grain. I find the foaming sprays remove fingerprints the best. The oven gets nasty fast. First, remove the oven rack and let them soak in warm water with 2 dishwasher pods for around 3 hours. The longer they soak, the better the result. This helps loosen grease and makes scrubbing way easier. Before spraying anything inside, I use a vacuum with a crevice tool to suck up crumbs and burnt bits. Instead of using harsh chemicals, I make a simple baking soda paste. 2 cups baking soda and enough water to make a thick paste. You can adjust the recipe to fit the size of your oven. Wearing gloves, I spread the paste all over the inside of my oven, making sure to get into corners and seams. Let it sit for 20 minutes or until it starts to dry out. Then spray with vinegar. The reaction helps break up tough grease. I use a plastic scraper tool to lift the grime, and it's so satisfying to see it come off. Just keep scraping and spray more vinegar as needed and wipe everything down with a microfiber towel. For the cooktop, first wipe up crumbs, and for those baked on spots, I gently scrape with a razor blade. It works like a charm. Then I use a foaming dish spray to cut through grease and scrub with a non-abrasive pad. To make it shine, I finish with a fresh stovetop cleaner, let it sit for about 10 minutes, then buff it with a microfiber cloth. A steam cleaner is also great for loosening grime in seams or hard-to-reach spots. For the microwave, fill a bowl with 1 cup vinegar and 1 cup water. Microwave for 5 minutes. The steam loosens stuck-on food, making it easy to wipe down. Then I'll reach for our all-purpose vinegar spray and a microfiber cloth. Don't forget to tackle the vent filter. This collects grease so fast. I'll usually replace mine at least every 6 to 8 months or sooner if you notice a significant buildup of grease or a decrease in performance. For the outside, I use the control lock feature on my microwave so I don't annoyingly press buttons as I clean. I use a glass cleaner and this handy microfiber buffer to help me get behind the handle and around the touchpad. You'd think that since the dishwasher cleans dishes, it would clean itself too. Nope. Over time, it collects grease, grime, and even food buildup in places like the door seals, filter, and detergent tray. So let's get it fresh and clean. First, I'll slide out the bottom rack and twist out the filter. If you've never done this before, brace yourself. It can get really gross. I just wash it in the sink with dish soap and a scrub brush to gently remove any trapped gunk. Next, I grab my all-purpose cleaner and wipe down the door seals, detergent tray, and the inside of the door. These areas collect so much buildup. Now on to the easiest part. Just pop in a fresh dishwasher cleaner tablet and run a hot cycle. This helps break down hard water buildup, grease, and odors, and it's so satisfying to see the difference. You should do this once a month to keep your dishwasher running at its best. A dirty coffee maker doesn't just taste bad, it can also build up lime scale, coffee oils, and bacteria over time. So let's get it back to brewing fresh and clean. First, I'll grab all the removable parts and wash them in the sink with dish soap. For my reusable pod, I let it soak in a bowl of vinegar while I clean the rest of the machine. Then I grab a small brush, dip it in the vinegar, and scrub around the pod holder and machine base. These spots can collect a lot of grime. Next up, fill the water reservoir with 4 cups of white vinegar and 2 cups of water. Then just start the brewing cycle. Be sure to run 2 to 3 more cycles of clean water, that way there's no lingering taste of vinegar in that next cup of coffee. Now that the appliances are clean, it's time to refresh the countertops. For tough countertop stains, I mix baking soda and vinegar into a paste and apply it to the stain. Once it dries, I wipe it away. It truly works like magic. Then I grab my DIY all-purpose cleaner and spray everything down. I also use a microfiber cloth to wipe away grease and crumbs. For an extra layer of disinfecting, I use another DIY spray, which is a combination of 1 cup water and 1 cup isopropyl alcohol. You guys, we did it. The last step is bringing it all together. I dust and wipe down cabinet doors, drawer pulls, and high-touch surfaces. You should always finish with the floors, vacuuming first, and then hitting with a steam cleaner. Finally, I love adding a fresh touch, maybe a candle, some fresh flowers, or just stepping back and admiring how clean and reset the kitchen feels.
When silver develops a tarnish, it's because there's sulfur or hydrogen sulfide or ammonia in the atmosphere that's reacting with the silver. And that's actually fusing with the silver and creating a coating on the surface of the silver that you then need to remove. And if it's heavily tarnished and you're using a polish to take off the heavy tarnish, you're actually taking off a layer of silver. You're taking off what has chemically become silver sulfide. And when you do that over and over and over, you're wearing down layers of the silver. So something like this spoon over here that had an engraving that was once very crisp and sharp has now become very worn down from years and years and years of polishing. This one is almost completely gone. So they say that you should avoid polishing silver with silver polish unless you absolutely have to. You can clean silver if it's not heavily tarnished, like if it looks like this or like this and it just needs a little bit of a shine. You can use other things. You can use all natural glass cleaner. You just spray a little bit on a piece of cotton or on a rag and you use that to just take away the surface dirt that will become tarnish and to make it shiny again. And that glass cleaner is not abrasive. It's not as harsh as silver polish. All commercial silver polish that's on the market today is abrasive. Baking soda, you'll hear that baking soda is a great polish. No, it is not. It is actually one of the most abrasive things that you could possibly use on antique silver. Never, ever, ever use baking soda on old silver. So there we go. And then this would be washed in the sink. It would be washed with soap and water thoroughly and then dried completely, because you want to dry it as soon as you've washed it off to make sure that no watermarks appear on it. So there we go. That just required a little bit of a clean to come back to a nice shine. You can also use hand sanitizer, a little bit of hand sanitizer, aloe-free hand sanitizer. If the piece is very lightly tarnished, like this spoon right here, and same thing. So when I'm doing this, I just take out all the silver and I put on a TV show or some music and I sit by the window and you just kind of get lost in it. So what will happen to a piece of polished silver as it starts to tarnish, it develops like a film and you can feel it on the silver. It's not smooth, there's a little bit of resistance. That's the first step of tarnish. And then it turns slightly yellow, very slightly yellow, almost indiscernible to someone that is not familiar with silver. Like the inside of this ladle, that's that first sign of it turning slightly yellow. It's not white anymore like this. You see the color difference? That's the beginning of tarnish. And then when sulfur starts to attack the silver, it changes color and it turns into this and it becomes dark and dull. Now, there's also sulfur in foods, like peas and eggs have sulfur. So if you have eggs with your silver fork, they'll immediately change color and they'll not only turn like dark, but they'll start to become metallic blue, like the tines of this fork. That's something that came in contact with eggs. That requires actual silver polish. So, hand sanitizer. Very, very mild way of cleaning lightly tarnished silver. And then the next level up would really be silver polish. What I like to use is a very mild paste. It comes with its own sponge in the little tub. Don't use this sponge. It's not the best sponge for polishing silver. You should use a cellulose sponge like this. So I'm gonna put my gloves on. You should wear gloves, or I wear gloves. You can do what you'd like. I don't want to go shooting all over the place. Shooting. You should do this, you should do this. That's what Laura says. People shouldn't go shooting all over the place. But I guess that's shoulding. Okay, this sponge is a little big, so I'm gonna cut it to make it a little more manageable. You can cut a sponge, you know. You don't have to use it in the size that it was sold to you. So, polishing with actual silver polish. I like to use this stuff because it is the mildest of the silver polishes out there. You only need a very little bit. You want the sponge to be slightly damp. You pick up a bit of the paste. Well, I don't have anything here that's severely tarnished because I use it all, but this spoon, have a good look at this handle. It's fairly tarnished. And I'm gonna take this paste and just rub it on with the sponge, and you'll see instantly that that silver sulfide, which is the coating of tarnish, that's coming off. Now, I will also remind you that this is a bit of the silver coming off, and this is that spoon with hardly any engraving left, so I am further taking away from this old engraving that's on here. This is not good. It's not good for the silver to be polishing it like this and abrading it. Okay, so a lot has come off on here. Rinse it off, let it dry a little bit, and then you go to your trusty rag bag. How many of you have rag bags at home? I have a rag bag. Nice soft remnant of a t-shirt, and then you buff this. So even more of that tarnish is coming off at this stage, and this is the actual shining stage. I'm wearing gloves right now, partially to eliminate any fingerprints or grease from going back onto the spoon that I polished. There, look at what came off, even after rinsing it off. And then this gets put into the pile of all the pieces that I've polished, and at the very end I would take everything to the sink and wash it all off in soapy water and dry it all really well and put it in the drawer. Look at the difference between this polished spoon and this spoon that has not been polished. You can see the difference in color. And if it's plate, just know that if it's silver plate and you use something very abrasive on it, you can take off that silver plate and you'll expose the metal underneath. You'll damage it beyond repair. So use these methods to begin with, and hopefully you'll be able to achieve a nice, beautiful shine like this. Okay, now I'm just gonna get to it and continue polishing all of this. So if you have a very ornate piece of silver and there are areas that your cloth won't get into, you need to use some kind of brush to put the polish in there and clean it out. And this is very important. If you use the wrong type of brush, you can actually really scratch the silver. So don't use a nylon synthetic toothbrush. That will scratch the silver. You want a natural haired brush. This is actually a horsehair brush. It's used for flux, like for welding, for putting on flux. It's just made of little horsehair bits. It's cheap, and this is the kind of brush that you would use to just pick up a little bit of polish. And again, I don't have anything very ornate here, but just to show you, I would, like this little bit in here, you just would rub it like this with the brush to get into the crevices. And then you can rinse it off with the brush as well. And then take your cloth and buff it to a shine. So silver was not just made into cutlery, it was made into all kinds of things. Necklaces, jewelry, inkwells, and this thing, which is one of my favorite possessions. I only have one umbrella that I own. It is this umbrella. It is from a wonderful shop in London called James H. Smith & Sons Umbrella and Sticks. And this shop, I think it goes back to the 1830s, and it's still in its original location. Beautiful hand-painted lettering in the glass window fronts. They make everything in the shop. And because the shop is almost 200 years old, in their basement they have parts. They have parts of umbrellas and walking sticks that are over 100 years old. And every now and then they pull some of those parts and they build a new walking stick or a new umbrella using old parts. So when I was there, I got this, which is this little umbrella. It has a little case. What I loved about it when I saw it was that the handle is rosewood and it's capped in silver. This is actually like a walking stick cap, but they put it on an umbrella. And this thing tarnishes. It tarnishes because it's just in the sulfuric living room. That's where it lives. So when you're polishing something like this, where there's silver and there's wood, it's a very good idea to protect the wood a little bit. The way you protect the wood is by applying a layer of paste wax. I just use my paste wax that I use for furniture, and I just get a little bit of this and put it right on the wood near where the silver is, and set that aside for 5 minutes or so and let it dry. Do you see how the wax is now opaque? That means it's dry. So once it's dry, you can take a little bit of the polish, just a wee bit. You don't need very much, just a little bit. And then I'm just avoiding the wood as much as I can. But I do know that because of that wax, the wood is semi-protected. And once all that tarnish has been removed, just clean this off with some water. Finally, I'll take a cotton cloth and I will buff this part first, dry it off, buff it to a shine, and then I'll take the cloth, find a clean spot, and I will clean off the wax from the handle. And the wax, because it's made for wood, actually polishes the handle as well. There, look at that. The umbrella is happy again. Look at how nice that looks. All polished and clean. There you have it. Silver polishing.
I'm here to show you 6 filters in your home that you probably need to replace. Did you know you need to change your air purifier's filter? If you didn't know that, you probably haven't changed your range hood filter in a while. The dishwasher might clean your dishes, but you need to clean your dishwasher's filter. If you have filtered water, go ahead and change that one too. Protect your drinking water at all costs. Are your clothes not feeling as clean? Then you should probably clean your washing machine filter too. And a friendly reminder to replace the most popular filter, your air filter. This should be changed every 1 to 3 months.
Hi friends, welcome back to Handmade. I'm Jill. Today, I'm going to be testing a process to see just how clean my already clean clothes actually are. By now, I'm sure you've heard of the viral trend called laundry stripping. It's basically a method used to deep clean your already clean clothes to remove any excess dirt, grime, buildup, waxy residue left over from fabric softeners, body oils, or hard water buildup. It's supposed to be a very simple process and only uses 3 ingredients. As somebody who loves to clean and organize for fun, I can't wait to see how it turns out. Come with me and let's go see how clean my clean clothes actually are. The first step is to fill your tub with hot water. I mean, as hot as your water will actually go. With the water running, add 1/4 cup of borax and 1/4 cup of washing soda. Then add a generous 1/2 cup of powdered laundry detergent. Next, we're gonna stir it all to dissolve. And I wanted to use something with a long handle because the water's so hot, so I'm gonna use my broom handle. Next, we're gonna add whatever laundry it is you wanna strip. Clean laundry. We're doing next level laundry here, so it's important we use clothing that is clean and has already been laundered. I'm gonna start with my workout pants first. I wash these every single time I wear them, but they still just always seem to have a not so fresh odor. It's gross, I know, so I hope this takes care of it. As I throw all these pants in, I'm wondering, how many pair of black workout pants is too many? Let me know in the comments below how many pairs you own. Make me feel better about myself. But when we've all been home for nearly a year, I feel like athletic wear has become everybody's go-to uniform. Who wants to wear real pants at home? I don't know if you can see, but my water is already gray and pretty murky. And this is 1 minute in the tub as the water was filling. So I'm gonna let this soak and I'm gonna come back in about 30 minutes, give it a big stir and check on it. All right, time check. It has been 30 minutes and the water is dirty and murky, so we're gonna give it a stir. Oh, gross. Oh, gross. Ew. As I stir it, the water is getting worse. And to think, these are clothes I thought were clean. All right, guys, time check. These pants have been soaking for 4 hours. Look at the water. I thought that these clothes were clean, and this is what has seeped out of them. I'm gonna give it a stir again. We'll see what happens. Oh my gosh, it's so gross. You can't even see the bottom of the tub. So we are back. Time check, 6 hours these things have been soaking. Okay, so now I'm just gonna drain the water and wring these out. It doesn't smell bad, so that makes me feel a little better. Okay, I'm gonna go put these in the washer, and then I'm gonna come back down and I'm going to clean this tub. Okay, I'm just gonna throw these wet workout pants in. The next step in this process is we are going to do a rinse and spin cycle. I didn't add any other laundry detergent. We only want to rinse out what's in there and spin it. Okay guys, so my workout pants are in the washer, so now I'm going to do the exact same process with my towels. So these are my clean white bath towels. So we're at the 30-minute mark, and really it doesn't necessarily look any different than I did when I first filled it up. It's just a little bit murky. We're gonna let them keep soaking. All right guys, we're back at a 2-hour mark, and it's really not changing very much. Water's just a little bit dingy. All right, we're gonna get these up into the washer for the rinse and spin cycle. Okay, so now I finally see what everybody has been talking about, and I am officially a laundry stripping convert. My clothes are cleaner than they've been since basically I bought them brand new. The workout pants, they seem just a little bit more stretchy. After wearing them and washing them time and time again, I think they've lost some of their life, but they feel almost brand new. And the towels, it didn't really change the color at all, but they definitely feel a little fluffier and more absorbent. This was both an inexpensive and easy way to bring life back to my laundry.
Have you ever cleaned your washing machine filter? Well, now is the time, and it's so easy to do. First, place a shallow dish under the access panel, usually at the bottom of your machine. Now gently remove the little plug from this tube and let the residual water flow into the dish before plugging it back up. Next up is the filter cap. Pull it out and rinse it under warm water. You'll be amazed by how much it catches. Finally, just screw the filter back in and close the panel. That's it. It's so easy, and your clothes will feel even more fresh now that it's done. I always try to clean my dryer vent out as frequently as possible to keep it running well and prevent any fire hazards, and using this kit has helped me get the buildup completely removed. The attachment connects to standard size vacuums, and it's flexible, so it's able to remove all the hard to reach buildup in the lint trap. Once I'm done vacuuming, I use this other brush to grab any stray lint pieces that were left behind. And as you can see, there was quite a bit of lint removed between the vacuum and the brush.
Every few months, we like to properly clean our mattress, and here's what we do. We remove all the sheets, including the mattress protector, and you can see we have a pretty gnarly stain from our toddler. We give it a good vacuum to remove any dust and debris, and we use a simple hot water and laundry detergent solution to spot clean and remove any stains. Then comes the baking soda to neutralize odors and absorb any moisture. We let that sit for 30 minutes, and then we vacuum one more time. And now you have a properly refreshed mattress that's stain-free, odor-free, and ready for the next season.
Be real. No one dreams about cleaning their bathroom, but considering how much time we spend in here every day, it gets grimy fast. First things first, I clear everything off my countertop. Soap dispensers, toothbrushes, all of it. It makes wiping way easier. Before I grab any cleaner, I do a dry wipe down to remove hair, dust, and water spots. Trust me, trying to clean a wet hair strand, it's a nightmare. Dry first, then clean. It's a game changer. One spot people always forget about is the faucet aerator. That little mesh piece where the water comes out. If yours is removable, soak it in vinegar. Otherwise, a small scrub brush and vinegar will break down any hard water buildup. For the sink itself, you don't need fancy cleaners. I use equal parts dish soap and baking soda on a sponge. This combo has just the right amount of grit to break down grime. Also, always be sure to scrub the underside of where the sink and the countertop meet. Another important area is around the drain, since that's where pink bacteria, yup, it's airborne, loves to build up. And don't forget the overflow drain. That little hole near the top of your sink traps so much gunk. Now, if you have marble countertops like me, be careful. Vinegar and harsh cleaners are a no-go since marble is porous. Instead, mix a tiny bit of pH-neutral dish soap in warm water and wipe everything down with a microfiber cloth. Okay, deep breath. It's toilet time. But don't worry, it doesn't have to be gross. Just like with the counter, I start by dry dusting the toilet lid, tank, seat, and sides to remove dust before adding any liquid cleaner. For an all-purpose spray that actually works, I mix 1 cup vinegar, 1 cup water, and 1 teaspoon dish soap. Spray it everywhere and let it sit for a minute. This gives the cleaner time to break down the grime while I tackle the bowl. One spot everyone forgets is the underside rim of the bowl. This is where hard water stains love to hide. A melamine sponge works wonders here. Gloves on, scrub the area first before moving to the rest of the bowl. Once the toilet bowl cleaner has done its thing, grab your brush and scrub from top to bottom, finishing at the drain. When you flush, twist the brush down the drain, then set it to dry between the seat and the lid. Then give the outside of the toilet a good wipe down with a disposable paper towel. For an extra deep clean, a handheld steam cleaner with a nozzle attachment is amazing for getting into seams and crevices. For a fresh scent, I drop a foaming toilet balm as a final step. The best way to clean your shower head is to set it and forget it. For the shower walls, I use the same DIY all-purpose spray of 1 cup vinegar, 1 cup water, and 1 teaspoon dish soap. Then scrub with a melamine sponge. I also hit the shower fixtures using the same method. When cleaning the tub, I focus on the area where the walls meet the tub. This is where soap scum builds up the most. A sprayable dish detergent works great since it's made to cut through grease and grime. I scrub and then give it a good rinse. I use a pitcher for better control, but if you have a handheld shower head, that works great too. For grout, I actually prefer to use an acid-free grout cleaner like Black Diamond that has a more gentle touch. Just spray it on, let it sit for a minute or two, and then scrub and rinse, making it safe for use on porcelain, ceramic, and marble surfaces, and also revives the original color of the grout. A handheld steam cleaner also works great for sanitizing and loosening stubborn buildup in the fixture's seams and crevices. To get a streak-free mirror, I use the S-pattern method, top to bottom, side to side. And if I spot any smudges after, a microfiber cloth does the trick. Alright, I swear by foaming glass cleaner. Not just for mirrors, but also for baseboards, especially if you have pets. Just spray, wipe with a microfiber cloth, and it's literal magic. I also clean each item individually before putting it back, so I'm not just redepositing dust and gunk. The small details really make the space feel fresh. Plus, now the most stressful part of your bathroom is deciding whether the toilet paper should roll over or under.
And I ain't gonna feed no cows. This woman's liberation, honey, is gonna start right now. And you'll say, hey, Loretta, I love you more than my Irish setter. Hey, Loretta, don't leave me alone. No? Hi, I'm Rajiv, and today we're going back to basics. Washing windows, something that every grown-up needs to know how to do. So I've used the blue commercial window glass cleaner stuff. I've used the vinegar in the newspaper. I've used like glass wipes, and this by far for me is the most effective way of getting a completely streak-free surface for the windows, for mirrors, for glass. It's just so great. All you need is a bucket of some warm water and just a very little bit of cornstarch. So the cornstarch goes in the water, you mix it around, you use one rag to swish the water around and to have like the wet solution go on the glass, and then you use a dry rag to wipe it off. If you put too much cornstarch in the water, there will be a film on the glass, And if you don't put enough cornstarch in the water, then it won't wick away the grease from the glass. So you need the right amount of cornstarch for about a gallon of water. So I have this bucket filled to about here. I'm only gonna put in a 1/4 teaspoon of cornstarch. So just that much cornstarch. Into the warm water, stir it around, and really mix it in, because you don't want any lumps or clumps of cornstarch to get onto the cloth, because those will transfer to the glass. So this, simple, easy, cheap, this is the magic solution that is really gonna work on the windows. Now, I'm gonna take my little rag, put it in here, swish it around. Now, we can move over to the window, which really needs a cleaning, because it's dirty. Look at this, look at this, look at how dirty this is, look at this. Look at this filth. There's a lot of dirt on these windows, and most of the dirt is actual, like, real grime. I'm gonna take that off of the window first by just using this wet cloth. Now, I'm switching to my dry cloth. A dry, clean cloth, and I'm just gonna polish all the water off. And because the sun's shining on the window, it's helping to dry the window quickly. But you want to do this and check and make sure there are no streaks. And that looks really good, actually, already. I'm just gonna also, while I'm out here, clean this sill, which is really filthy. Ugh, just one window, and look at how nasty that water is. Nasty! Nasty water! Oh, there's schmutz on there. The standards are slipping. That's what Gigi says. When I visit Gigi, sometimes we'll be having coffee. Gigi's my friend from Ireland. We'll be having coffee in her kitchen, and she'll just be looking up at the ceiling, and she'll see cobwebs, and she'll go, "Oh dear. Don't look up, darling, there's cobwebs. The standards are slipping." So now I say that. The standards are slipping. Hear that squeak? That's where squeaky clean comes from. You have to use the dry cloth until it's dry. Because if you stop wiping while it's still wet, those streaks are gonna stay on there. You want to clean the screen, because if you clean your nice windows and just put this dirty screen back in there, if there's heavy rain, the rain is going to come through the screen and just splatter dirt back onto the glass. So that's why, if you want to do this properly, if you want to do it thoroughly, clean the screens as well. So I take the screens out, and you can use this cornstarch water, or you can use clean soapy water. And you can see it is dirty. So rinse that out. I'm gonna flip the screen over, and I'm gonna do the other side. Perfect. No chemicals, no paper towel, not even pennies to make what's in here. The best way to wash windows. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's fine. But please subscribe for more videos just like this one. Bye!